The Rebellion of Korah. The wilderness stretched endlessly, a sea of sand and stone beneath the burning sun. The people of Israel moved restlessly in their encampments, the tabernacle standing at the center as the visible reminder of God's dwelling among them. But the longer the journey lasted, the heavier the hearts of the people became. They had seen miracles. The Red Sea parted, manna falling daily, water drawn from rocks. Yet their discontent often surfaced in murmurs that rippled like waves through the camp. Among them was a man named Korah, a Levite from the clan of Kohath. He was not a stranger to service, for the Levites had been chosen to carry the holy things of the tabernacle. Korah's responsibilities placed him near sacred work, but not at the center of authority. Within his heart, jealousy festered. He looked upon Moses and Aaron, chosen by God to lead and minister, and he questioned why his family should not share the same honor. Korah's thoughts grew darker as he considered his place. To him, the distribution of authority seemed unfair. If all Israel was holy as God had declared, why should Moses and Aaron stand above the rest? Why should one family hold the priesthood while others labored in supporting roles? These questions gnawed at him until his restlessness became rebellion. But Korah did not stand alone. He found companions in his discontent. Dathan and Abiram, sons of Eliab from the tribe of Reuben, shared his grievances. They were men of influence, quick with words, bold in spirit. Together with On, son of Peleth, they conspired to challenge Moses and Aaron. Their whispers traveled from tent to tent, stirring others who carried their own bitterness. Soon, 250 leaders of the congregation, men of renown, joined their cause. The movement swelled quietly, dissatisfaction turning into open defiance. The camp buzzed with rumors and sharp debates. Some said Moses had led them astray, promising a land of milk and honey, yet leaving them to wander in the barren wilderness. Others complained that Moses and Aaron exalted themselves, claiming authority that belonged equally to all. Few spoke of the Lord's direct calling, for hearts clouded by resentment do not easily remember divine truth. One morning, Korah and his company confronted Moses and Aaron. Their faces burned with indignation, their voices carrying across the assembly. "You take too much upon yourselves," they declared. "All the congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of the Lord?" The words struck like a blow, heavy with accusation. Moses fell face down before God, a posture of humility and intercession. He did not defend himself with anger or pride. Instead, he spoke with calm authority, knowing the Lord would reveal the truth. "Tomorrow, the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. The one whom he chooses, he will cause to draw near." Moses commanded Korah and his followers to take censers, put fire and incense in them, and present themselves before the Lord. Aaron would also stand before the Lord with his censer. The outcome would make plain whom God had chosen for priestly service. The challenge was set, not between men but before the Lord himself. Turning to Korah, Moses rebuked him with sorrow. "Hear now, you sons of Levi. Is it a small thing that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle, and to stand before the congregation to minister? He has brought you near, yet you seek the priesthood also. Therefore you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you complain against him?" But Korah was unmoved. His allies Dathan and Abiram refused even to meet with Moses. In their pride, they sent a defiant reply. "Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you must also make yourself a prince over us? You have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up." Their words dripped with venom, twisting truth into accusation. Egypt, the land of their bondage, they now called a land of milk and honey, while the promise of Canaan seemed distant and empty. Their bitterness blinded them to God's deliverance and hardened them against his chosen servant. Moses grew very angry at their defiance. He prayed to the Lord, asking him not to accept their offerings, yet even in his anger, Moses followed the Lord's command. He told Korah, "You and all your company be present before the Lord tomorrow, you and they, as well as Aaron. Each of you take his censer, put incense in it, and each present his censer before the Lord, 250 censers, along with you and Aaron." The next day dawned with tense anticipation. Korah and his company gathered at the entrance of the tabernacle, each man holding a censer filled with burning incense. The fire glowed, the smoke rose, and the air was heavy with expectation. The entire congregation of Israel assembled to watch, drawn by curiosity and fear. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all. His presence descended with awe and power, and the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron. "Separate yourselves from this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." Moses and Aaron fell on their faces once again, pleading for mercy. "O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and you be angry with all the congregation?" Their intercession spared the nation, but judgment still loomed over the rebels. The Lord instructed Moses to command the people, "Get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Moses rose and went to the place of Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He cried out to the people, "Depart now from the tents of these wicked men. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins." The people hastily withdrew as the families of the rebels stood defiantly by their tents. Dathan and Abiram came out with their wives, their children, and their little ones, standing proud and unyielding. Moses proclaimed, "By this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own will. If these men die naturally like all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the pit, then you will understand that these men have rejected the Lord." No sooner had he spoken than the ground beneath them split apart. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed Dathan, Abiram, their families, and all their possessions. They went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed over them. A cry of terror rose from the people as they fled in panic, saying, "Lest the earth swallow us also." Fire then came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men offering incense. Their censers, once instruments of defiance, were gathered and hammered into plates to cover the altar as a lasting memorial. The sight served as a warning that no one except the descendants of Aaron was to burn incense before the Lord, lest he become like Korah and his company. Yet even after such judgment, the hearts of the people were not fully humbled. The very next day, the congregation murmured against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the people of the Lord." Their blindness to God's direct action revealed the depth of their stubbornness. The Lord's anger broke out once again, and a plague swept through the camp. Moses and Aaron rushed to intercede. Aaron took his censer, ran into the midst of the assembly, and made atonement for the people standing between the living and the dead. The plague was stopped, but 14,700 had perished. Through this, the Lord confirmed his choice of Aaron's priesthood. Later, to silence further disputes, the leaders of each tribe brought their staffs before the Lord. The staff belonging to Aaron budded, blossomed, and even bore ripe almonds, a miraculous sign that God had chosen him. The staff was placed before the ark as a testimony against rebellion. The story of Korah's rebellion became a solemn warning for generations. It revealed the danger of pride, jealousy, and discontent. Korah's desire for honor blinded him to the privilege already given to him. His rebellion against God's appointed leaders was, in truth, rebellion against God himself. The earth that swallowed him stands as a symbol of the end of those who rise in defiance against the Lord's order. This account echoes beyond Israel's wilderness journey. Later scriptures remembered Korah as a warning, and the apostles in the New Testament spoke of those who perished in his rebellion. His story warns all who would seek authority apart from God's calling, who would stir division instead of honoring God's order. Yet even in judgment, mercy shone. The sons of Korah did not perish with their father. From them came psalmists who later sang some of the most beautiful hymns in Scripture. Their words exalted God's holiness, his strength, his dwelling place. Out of rebellion's ashes arose worship that still calls hearts to draw near to the Lord. The rebellion of Korah teaches that God alone establishes authority, and his choices must be honored. It reminds every heart to guard against envy and to rejoice in the place God assigns. Above all, it calls each generation to humility, to recognize that service to God in any capacity is a holy privilege, not a right to be grasped. As the wilderness stretched on, the people of Israel carried with them the memory of Korah's fate. The ground where the earth opened remained a scar in the landscape, and the altar covered with bronze from the censers stood as a lasting memorial. Each reminder whispered the same truth: God is holy, his order is perfect, and rebellion against him leads only to destruction.